Kentucky, but football has taken many of the headlines of late here in Big Blue Nation. Mark Stoops has won on the recruiting trail. Now here in 2014, fans believe it's going to mean more wins on the field. Today they look to be 2-0 for the first time since September of 2011. Welcome to the SEC on ESPN. From Commonwealth Stadium here in steamy Lexington, Kentucky, it's the 1-0 Bobcats of Ohio out of the MAC and the 1-0 Kentucky Wildcats. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to the Bluegrass. Alongside my partner, Anthony Becht, I'm Clay Matvick. And Mark Stoops has done a great job on the recruiting trail, and now it appears ready to pay dividends. And with that said, we're going to see a Joker Phillips recruit running the offense this year, and he sure looked good in week one.
Well, quarterback Patrick Towles has done an outstanding job to start the season. The best thing that this new staff did was redshirt him last year. Let him work on his mechanics. Let him work on understanding the offense, this Neil Brown system. 377 yards last week. This kid's looking to shine, and the coaching staff is excited to have him.
Well, Ohio should be a stiffer test than FCS UT Martin was last week for Kentucky, and we say that because they're so well coached. Frank Solich now in year 10 on the job.
Well, when you watch this Ohio Bobcats team, they really embody their head coach, Frank Solich. Tough, disciplined, effort. That's everything he's done in his long coaching career, and that's what you're going to see on the field. And they're a much better team on defense with 8 returning starters. Should be a nice matchup against this high-flying Kentucky offense.
Some bad news for Kentucky before the start of this game. They know they will not have Braylon Hurd, the running back. A couple of carries last week and 2 long touchdowns. What a first impression he made, but he suffered an ankle sprain on the second touchdown. So the Nebraska transfer will not be available today. And speaking of Nebraska, how about that game in front of us? McNeese State nearly pulled out an upset in Lincoln today. While the Kentucky players getting a nice surprise in their lockers this afternoon, new gray jerseys. So we're sporting those for the first time here in 2014. And Ohio in their New York Jets look, hunter green and white, as we're ready to go. Ohio won the toss. They elected to kick off. There's Josiah Yazdani putting it on the tee. He kicked the game-winning field goal for the Bobcats last week in a win over Kent State. First meeting of these two teams since 2004, a win by Ohio. Boom Williams and J.D. Harmon are back, and we're underway here in Lexington. And this is going to sail through the end zone, a touchback, and Kentucky will go to work at their own 25-yard line. So we're going to see Patrick Towles and the Kentucky offense, the air raid offense for the Wildcats. And he is a big quarterback. He's got a big arm. He beat out freshman Reese Phillips and Drew Barker during camp. And last week certainly didn't hurt his chances of keeping the job.
He's a tall drink of water. I was down on the field. This is a big young man. I'd say he's got a great strong arm. He distributed the ball to his receivers and tight ends last week. That'll be key against this veteran Ohio defense.
JoJo Kemp will be in the backfield with him to start. Again, no Braylon Hurd, out with an ankle injury. So Kentucky, first play from scrimmage. The handoff is to Kemp, picking his way on that right side. And he'll get a couple of yards. 656 yards of total offense last week for Kentucky. FCS opponent or not, Kentucky looked different, better, more confident, certainly worthy of the SEC.
I think that's the biggest thing the coaching staff kept preaching when we talked to them. They said these kids were confident in the first game, and they want to see the growth into game 2.
Second down and 9, a play fake. Towles pumps again, and now throws down the middle of the field. Has a receiver, and it's caught at the 44-yard line by Ryan Timmons. He was the team's second leading receiver last year as a true freshman. They're going to count on him a lot this year. He's got 18.
It's a great job. They're going to fake a slip screen to the left hand of your screen. Nothing's going to be there. He's going to come back across the middle. Great catch. Good job holding the football as the defender tries to strip. It's a good job of reading your progressions.
From from the 46, 1st and 10. Tolles to the air again, and again hooks up with Timmons, slips away into Ohio territory. Ball comes loose, but they're going to count him dead at the 37-yard line.
Timmons is their #1 receiver into this game. Tolles gets a late throw. He's very fortunate there. Johnson almost was able to deflect it. But what can you do after you catch the football as a wide receiver? Great job at getting those positive yards, moving the chains. This is what his offense has shown on tape after last week.
9 different players caught passes last week. That is amazing. And now we're going to hear a cascade of boos from the crowd. Tom Ritter, our referee.
The previous play is under further review.
Let's see if that ball didn't come out before it was whistled dead.
We've already seen the defense trying to strip the ball. That's what they've been taught. You're going to get the fundamentally sound football here. You see there, Javon Johnson. He's down on the ground. Ball comes out late. Obviously, with the slow-mo there, we're able to capture that view. Looks like they'll get that ball at that spot.
Now the fans here are seeing the replay you're seeing at home, and they seem to agree with you, Anthony. 8 starters back on this defense, though, for Ohio. And they are aggressive. They held Kent State to -4 rushing yards in the first half last week. Just 31 yards total on 22 attempts. So, again, it's going to be a stiffer test for Kentucky.
After review, the runner was down prior to losing the ball. The Kentucky's ball, first down at the 37-yard line.
There's Mark Stoops, a great defensive coordinator at Arizona and Florida State, but his ability to recruit is what excited the Kentucky fan base when he got hired. His first 2 recruiting classes, outstanding. And again, we're starting to see the talent level here in Lexington rise. First down and 10. Kentucky on the march on the opening series. Ohio's going to bring some pressure. It's a deep handoff to Boom Williams, one of the true freshmen. Got a lot of playing time last week. He's going to pick up 2. Blair Brown, the weak side linebacker, in on the tackle. Second down.
Yeah, they're going to mix it up now on defense. They're going to try to sugar it up with their linebackers in the A-gap. That last play there, they got up into the line. They're going to be in a mix-up situation on defense to try to confuse Tolles in this football game.
5 receivers. Tolles from the gun. Throws a quick shot. Should have been caught. And it was dropped by Joey Herrick, the junior out of Massachusetts. It'll be 3rd down and 8.
But listen, if you're a wide receiver on this football team, I don't care who you are, you better be ready for the football. The one thing you've seen early in this season with Tolles is he delivers the ball to everybody. Everybody's an open guy. That talks to me about his progression. He understands what he sees from the defense. Pre-snap read is huge. The young man has done a great job of that to start this season.
See what the offensive coordinator Neil Brown draws up on 3rd and 8. Ohio rushes 4. Tolles sets in the pocket, now pressured out. Spring to the right, still looking downfield. He's going to tuck and try and run for the first down, and he's got it as he steps out at the 20. He can move for a big man. He picks up 11, and they'll move the chains.
I'll tell you what, great protection by the offensive line here. And you see, again, watch him read the field. Start to the left, and he comes around right, uses his legs. He had a receiver open deep, but he made the smart play with his legs. Great block by number 81, the receiver Cunningham, to really spring that and get the first down for Kentucky.
Kentucky in the red zone for the first time today. They were 4 for 4 last week against UT Martin with 3 touchdowns. First down and 10, a designed run for Tolles, and he finds a big hole up the middle. Down to the 9-yard line, Devin Jones, the corner, finally makes the tackle. It's first down and goal for the Cats.
Listen, Tolles, a few years ago in high school, over 1,700 career rushing yards, okay? But one thing I'll say about this big man, when you get through, you better get your butt down and slide. Right here, don't take that hit. I know he's a big guy and he applies it, but don't take those hits. He's got to slide, but great job. Great play design to mix it up.
the run. This time it's Ryan Timmons. Occasionally lines up in the backfield. Not much up the middle. 2nd down and goal for Kentucky.
Defensive line for Ohio is very, very senior-laden, very older, respectable guys that have done a great job, especially in the middle. Crutcher, McLeod, and Basham last year had 7.5 sacks, their most athletic pass rusher. Look for these guys to try to control the line of scrimmage today.
2nd down and goal for the Wildcats. On their opening series, Tolles plants, throws to the end zone, and it's incomplete again. Timmons the intended target on that out route. Jones good coverage. So now 3rd down for Kentucky.
Again, man-to-man coverage. They tried to run a slant corner. They hit the corner route there, a little overthrown, but well covered by Davin Best, number 37, Ohio's best cover corner.
Patrick Tolles, sophomore out of Fort Thomas, Kentucky. As the Wildcats deep in Ohio territory, this is the 9th play of the drive. Tolles to throw. Again to the end zone. It's caught at the goal line. Touchdown, Kentucky. Dorian Baker, the true freshman. It's the Wildcats on the board.
Be interesting to see if he able to hold that ball at the line there at the goal line. It was a short comeback route. Tolles just waits for his wide receiver, sticks it in there perfectly. Question is, was the football over the goal line? Referee says it was. See if that holds.
Baker, a rookie wide receiver with real good size, 6'3", 197. It came in handy there.
Further review.
And they are going to review it. 3-star recruit out of Cleveland Heights High School in Ohio. Boy, Mark Stoops has done a great job recruiting that state.
He has, and you see the true freshman here running a short comeback out route. Got to know where you're at on the football field. He's only a true freshman. From that angle, we can't tell. Not enough to overturn it here. Again, he's right at the goal line. You want to try to get at least a yard in sometimes, Clay, just to make sure that that could be short. But again, it's got to be indisputable video evidence. I don't know with these angles that we're seeing if we'll be able to overturn this call.
Ian Wells did a great job playing that football and trying to keep the receiver out of the end zone. He's the best starting corner according to Jimmy Burrow, the defensive coordinator in the entire conference, the MAC.
I'll be quite honest, I don't think they can overturn this.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
They agreed with you. Our replay official Gerald Hodges took a look at it, and the play stands.
Yeah, we can guess and speculate, but you got to have the angle to see it, and you can't overturn the call's a touchdown. So again, great route. They'd like that true freshman to get a little deeper, but an accountable catch. Very nice throw by Tolles. Excellent first drive by Kentucky.
So this air raid offense picking up where it left off last week. They blew out UT Martin. Austin McGinnis for the point after. And it's 7-0 Kentucky. Patrick Tolles and the Kentucky offense waste no time getting points on the board.
ESPNU College Football is brought to you by Energizer Max batteries with Power Seal technology and Joseph A. Bank. We fit most everyone. JOSbank.com.
Kentucky 1-0 for the first time since 2011. There is an optimism around this program that's been absent for some time. And on their opening drive, they go 75 yards to take a 7-0 lead. And Patrick Tolles, the sophomore quarterback who has shown great confidence here the first couple of weeks, responsible for 72 of those 75 yards with his arm and his feet.
As a coaching staff, man, they got to feel good about finally having a QB that can play and lead this football team.
Daz Patterson and Devin Bass back deep for Ohio. This is unreturnable off the foot of Austin McGinnis. It's our second touchback of the day. We'll see Ohio's offense. Darius Vick is a dual threat quarterback for the Bobcats. He waited his time behind their record-setting quarterback at Ohio, Tyler Tettleton, the last couple of years, so now he's getting his chance. He was sharp in the opener last week. 18 for 24, 262, a couple of touchdowns at Kent State.
Well, listen, he played quite a bit last season. They used him when they tried to mix it up offensively. You're going to see basically a quarterback read option team out of the spread, almost a Nebraska style out of the spread, but they're going to try 80% of the time last week. They're going to have a read option kind of action with the running back in their pass and their running game. Be interesting to see what that in this game today.
He wants to throw here on the first play, and it's batted down. Mike Douglas, fifth-year senior, finally getting a chance to be a full-time starter for Kentucky. Makes it 2nd and 10.
He did. He had a big sack last week. Strong safety A.J. Stamps. He was also in the backfield there. They're going to have to worry about these two guys today.
So Darius Vick making just his 3rd career start. 0 for 1 passing. 2nd and 10. Flared out, and there's Daz Patterson, who had a bad week last week, a couple of fumbles. And he's kicking himself there. That should have been caught.
Yeah, right in his hands. He had a few fumbles. Their whole running back crew had 4 of them last week. And I know offensive coordinator Tim Allen was definitely not happy about that. He wants to see these guys deliver a big game for him today.
Big Blue Nation getting loud here at Commonwealth Stadium on 3rd down and 10. They rush 5. Handoff. Patterson trying to get it to the outside, well short of the first down. He got to the 30, and that's it. As Fred Tiller is in on the tackle, so is number 5, Ashley Lowry. Well, that Kentucky defense forced 5 turnovers last week, a couple of interceptions. I mean, this was a highly praised defense after week 1.
Yeah, there's no question about it. They returned some very good skilled position players at the defensive end. Dupree is very good. They'll have a lot of experience to help them from a defensive standpoint.
So they force a 3 and out. Kentucky to get the ball back. This is DeMarco Robinson, 3rd year as the team's punt return specialist, and a flag comes out at the 30-yard line.
Yeah, that's going to be a block in the back by Kentucky. A little fired up there on that punt return.
During the return, the illegal block in the back, number 29 of the receiving team, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. 1st down.
All right, Patrick Towles and Kentucky ready to go back to work. He was dynamite on the opening series. We'll see what he can do for an encore in just a moment. Kentucky covered 75 yards in its first series in 3.5 minutes. Baker, the touchdown reception. That's after putting up 656 yards of total offense against UT Martin a week ago.
Not bad to start the season right there. I don't care who you're playing against. You still have to scheme and catch the football, make your throws. What a great job getting over 650 yards of total offense.
So after that penalty, Kentucky will start this drive at their own 20. JoJo Kemp, he's number 3. He's in the backfield with Towles, and he'll get the football. Finds some wiggle room right up the middle on a 7-yard run. And again, that opening series, Anthony, that's without 3 of their starters on the field. Zach West, the left guard, is out with an injury. Javis Blue, a top receiver, out with an ankle. And Braylon Hurd, who we told you about before, running back, also out with an ankle injury. As Kemp carries, again, it's going to be close to a 1st down.
But they do get back number 77, Darian Miller, their left tackle, who was suspended last week. He's got over 24 career starts, so that'll add a lift to that shorthanded left side of the line.
They were 8 of 14 last week on 3rd down. And they got it as Towles lunges ahead to pick it up. Let's take a look at the impact players.
Well, when you look at the defense for Ohio, Javon Johnson's a guy to me that really spurts out to the seam. He's all over the place, an athletic linebacker. Kemp's going to get the rock today with Herb being hurt, and Timmons, we've seen him catch some balls early in this football game. He's going to be the #1 go-to guy for Kentucky.
Ohio's missing starting strong safety Josh Kristoff with a hamstring injury. Their middle linebacker Ben Russell out 4 to 6 weeks with a shoulder. So they're nicked up a little bit too here for week 2. First down and 10 for Kentucky. There's a deep ball that nobody's home for. The closest receiver, and he was about 15 yards shy of where that ball ended up, was Baker.
Well, when you got that many true freshmen starting for you at the wide receiver position, you're going to have those miscommunications. They just got to get on the same page. You're going to have those, and I think the patience, obviously, this offensive staff, you'll see that throughout this game.
Second down and 10. Tolles feeling a little pressure on his backside, being chased, and he's going to throw it away. So now third down and 10. Casey Sales, number 44, the defensive end out of Omaha, is in hot pursuit. Getting back to these receivers for Kentucky. 4 true freshman wide receivers last week. 10 catches total for 164 and a touchdown. Yeah, young, but certainly looked composed last week.
There's no question about it, and that just goes to show, like I said, the progression, his pre-snap read, being able to find the open receiver. Everybody's live in this Neil Brown offensive system.
Trying to convert a third down at 10. Tolles rips it across the middle of the field and has a receiver, Blake Bone. And Bone is down at the 44-yard line. He took a hard hit. Another true freshman who made a great impression last week. A couple of catches. One went for a touchdown, and he is slow to get up.
Yeah, he's just running a slant. He's the third option, so he's got to come all the way back. Catches the ball well across the middle of the field. Right there, gets a big hit by Johnson. See right here by Ohio player, the defensive player coming to the screen. Ball pops out, but he did have possession. Came out after he hits the ground. Great concentration by that young man. Hopefully, Bone is okay.
Blake Bone, a true freshman out of Woodruff, South Carolina. One of the coups in that 2014 recruiting class for Mark Stoops. He's being attended to with 9:03 to go here in the first quarter. 7-0 Kentucky. Blake Bone took a hard hit, but he hung on to the football to pick up 13 yards and a first down. And the good news is he was able to walk off the field under his own power. They're still looking at him over on the sideline, but it appears that Blake is going to be okay. That young man has a bright future here in Lexington.
There's no question. 2 catches, 65 yards, a touchdown last week. Great job and concentration on that catch.
Now here is Boom Williams. You go from Bone to Boom. I mean, some great names in that recruiting class, too. Boom Williams, the true freshman out of Monroe, Georgia. Give him 3.
Going to play a lot of players, a lot of different offensive options, and you got to love Boom. That's a great hashtag in the front of your name.
Second down and 7. They're going to run it. There is Boom, and Boom is gone. Yeah, those aren't boos from the crowd. 53 yards and a touch for Boom Williams.
Great job to start this game by Kentucky offense. It's just an inside zone, and they've got a man-on-a-man here, and they're going to run right through the chute. It's a great job of finding the hole, and speed kills America, and you see it right there as Boom Williams takes it to the house for Kentucky.
And the extra point is good. It's 14-0. Boom, his name is Stanley, but he is rarely called that. You can see why they call him Boom. 2:08 on the ESPN 300 from that class of 2014. One of the young guys that's going to make an impact here at Kentucky. ESPNU brings you college football primetime tonight, presented by 5 Hour Energy at 7 o'clock. Number 21 South Carolina, wounded from their season opener, hosting the Pirates of East Carolina. The game also available live on the Watch ESPN app. After South Carolina lost to Texas A&M, that's the game where America was introduced to Kenny Hill, the quarterback of the Aggies. We'll see what the old ball coach Steve Spurrier and the Gamecocks can do here to get back to the winning ways. 2 drives for Kentucky, 2 touchdowns. And Ohio, who went 3 and out on its first series, try to get something going here in Lexington. And both of the touchdowns, Anthony, by true freshmen. Again, there is so much excitement here surrounding Kentucky football, and it's all because of these young players that Mark Stoops has brought in. Well,
you talked about recruiting. That's been a hallmark right now with this new staff. But the question is, you don't know what you're going to get on Saturdays. So right now, there's got to be confidence with this whole offensive staff of what these young players for Kentucky have been able to do so far in this young season.
Stanley Boom Williams with that long touchdown run. And the Wildcats with a 2-touchdown lead now as Darius Vick and the Ohio offense will start at the 25. Vick unloads. He's got a big arm too, and it should be caught by Patterson, and that's his second drop.
That's unfortunate. You know, this young man obviously had a few fumbles last week. Dropped the swing pass earlier. This is a tough one now. This is Willie Mays style. It's not an easy catch, but he is a redshirt junior. He's got experience. And when you're playing against Kentucky, an SEC team, you have to take advantage of those chances.
Vick is going to keep it himself, and he's got enough for a first down. He runs out of bounds at about the 39-yard line. When we were talking to the coaching staff of Ohio, they said Daz is going to be on a short leash. Anybody that turns it over or doesn't get it done, they're going to be out. And that's what happened to Patterson last week. Frank Solich said, you fumbled twice. Come sit on the bench next to me.
Well, players get into a little bit of a mental funk. Sometimes you have to get something right to happen for you. Tim Albans, the offensive coordinator, needs to stay on schedule now. 14-0 isn't terrible. He has to stay within the system and continue to run his offense.
They bring in Tim Edmond, the senior running back now. He doesn't fare any better. Hit in the backfield by Bud Dupree. 6'3", 233-pound defensive end outside linebacker. He drops him for a loss of 3.
If there's one man you want to watch today for Kentucky's defensive line is right here, Mr. Dupree. He's the active leading sack leader in the SEC. And if you don't block him in the backfield, you better make sure you run fast because he's going to make that tackle every time. Good job of meshing up and making that play.
Alvin Bud Dupree, he flirted with the NFL, chose to come back to Kentucky. He thinks the Wildcats can have a big year here in 2014. It is Tim Edmond again. And he is pulled down from behind by Josh Forrest and Jason Hatcher. Josh Forrest, the middle linebacker, came to Kentucky as a wide receiver. He's the starter in the middle.
Well, you heard DJ Elliott yesterday, Clay, talking about there's one thing you're going to see out of number 45. That is speed. If you're a former wide receiver, you can shoot the guns and run fast. Right there, he showed us how he shot the gap and made a big play to get this 3rd and long situation that Ohio does not want to be in.
Came here wanting to be the next Randall Cobb. Now he replaces Avery Williamson. 3rd down and 18. It's going to be a delay of game.
Delay game, offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
DJ Elliott came with Mark Stoops from Florida State, where he was the Seminoles defensive ends coach. He's an exciting young coach, and he's helping to build this defense into an SEC caliber unit. Vick gets away. Not far enough. 4th down, and Ohio will have to punt. Blake McClain, the nickelback stepped up along with Cody Quinn to make the stop.
So far, both sides of the football for Kentucky have come out ready to play in this game. Excellent job by this staff of really, when you come off a big game with young players, getting them focused for week 2. He's done an excellent job of that today.
Mitch Bonstetter, junior college transfer, now in his 2nd season at Ohio. Booms the punt, and it drifts over to the far sideline and out of bounds. And Kentucky is going to have it right around the 30-yard line when we come back. 5:18 to go, opening quarter. Already a good start for the Kentucky offense, which is back on the field in a moment. All right, here's the breakdown of the tunnel screen, which we have seen Kentucky use quite a bit already this season.
A lot of explosive plays last week. See the guard and the center are going to come out and block. The linebacker and the safety. Great job here by this young man, this wide receiver on the inside. Just deliver the ball underneath, right through that tunnel, and take it to the house. Wide receiver DeMarco Robinson didn't quite get there, but they scored the second time they ran it. Look for a lot of these screens to the wide receivers in this game to produce big plays.
Kentucky had 14 explosive plays last week. And a lot of new talent involved in the offense. They're doing the same this week. Here's Ryan Timmons out at about the 35-yard line. Corner Devin Bass pushes him out. That's a pickup of 8 yards. The Ohio defense gave up just 31 rushing yards last week. They have already given up 92 rushing yards to Kentucky today, and they're being picked apart by the short passes, too. Second down and 2. Will end around to Robinson. It looks like he's got the first down.
Yeah, you know, like, go back to your point. For sure, this offense has been balanced. I think that's the #1 thing you see with these players. They get the ball to a variety of offensive weapons, and they're very confident in a lot of people. Ohio's defense is in dangerous waters right now. They have to find a way to get off the field and stop this strong Kentucky offense.
Josh Clemens, number 21, checking into the backfield. Tolles will keep it himself. It's a short gain for Patrick Tolles, Kentucky's Mr. Football. He led Highlands High School to 3 straight state titles, went 38-1 in high school. He's got a swagger about him, Anthony, and that's what Neil Brown really likes about his young signal caller.
Well, they decided to redshirt him last season after he played a few snaps of his true freshman year. They need to get his mechanics and really just understanding of this offense, and really it's paid dividends right now for this young team.
Second down and 9. He'll send Clemens out in motion. They throw complete to Ryan Timmons to about the 45-yard line. There's Javon Johnson again to make the tackle. It's a gain of 4 as we're under 4 minutes to go.
And you see this young offense, okay? Very short, quick passes. Get it out of the young quarterback's hands. Look for one of those pump fakes now, and they'll get down the field with one of these young receivers to produce a big play and put more points up on the board.
Kentucky is a perfect 4 for 4 on 3rd down today. They need 5 to midfield. And that throw is short, incomplete, intended for Garrett Johnson. Another 3-star recruit from that 2014 class. So it's 4th down, and for the first time today, a drive stalls out for Kentucky.
Well, you're right. They wish they could have done it sooner, but hey, listen, baby steps. They play a very explosive offense. Ohio gets off the football field. Now let's see if their players on offense, when the plays are there, they can make it and make a big play for their team.
Daz Patterson is back deep for Ohio. 3rd-year punter Landon Foster was 1 punt last week for Kentucky. And that's going to be dead at the 10-yard line. A 45-yard punt for Foster in a long field for Ohio. And we say hi to Matt for the first time.
Hello, Clay. Good to hear from you. And now time for your conference update brought to you by Dr. Pepper. We're focusing in on the Pac-12. It's on ABC. Justin Davis with a 12-play opening drive for SC. They're up 7-0 on Stanford on the farm. End of the first. Clay.
Yeah, big game there out west. And again, with the college football playoff this year, great to see these early season matchups that could very well help decide who gets into that 14 playoff.
How about Sarkisian? His offense over 105 plays last week. I mean, that's cooking now.
And we'll see if this Ohio offense can start to cook. Nothing so far. 3 and out in its first series. 5 plays and out on series number 2. And now they've got a long field. Handoff to Patterson. He is trying to get on track. And so far, no doing. As Dupree stops him for no gain. You know, a lot of folks were saying, where was Bud Dupree last week for Kentucky? Where was Zadarius Smith? But those guys took a lot of double teams last week.
When you're the best player on defense, you're going to get the offense's best players against you, and they're going to game plan and scheme you, and that's what they're going to do every single week they play against these young players.
Second team All-SEC last year, Bud Dupree. Darius Vick handing off again. Patterson will get 3 as it's going to be 3rd down and fairly long for Ohio.
Good job by Kentucky defense, really not giving up much yards on 1st and 2nd down and creating this 3rd and 6 situation against this Ohio offense.
DJ Elliott wanted to see better play against the run from this Kentucky defense today. So far he has. 3rd down and 6. Vick. Incomplete. Jordan Reed was the receiver Vick was looking for. It's 4th down.
Flush Vick out of the pocket there. Thought he could have ran for that 1st down there, Clay. Decided to throw. Again, going to the left. Very tough for a right-handed quarterback. Gets the incompletion. Kentucky gets the ball right back. Not exactly what Ohio's offense wanted to do.
Bonstetter comes back out. After their second 3 and out for Ohio, he's going to kick from inside the 5. Good punt. Backing off is Robinson. Fields it at the 30-yard line, comes ahead and gets hammered at the 35. Good coverage by the Bobcats after that 56-yard punt. Cody Grillo in on the coverage.
Hello.
Yeah, that was a good hit down at the 35-yard line by Grillo.
Hopefully that gets his team fired up on offense. Defense was able to get a stop. This is going to be another important series for Ohio's team right now. And you see Tolles, 78 yards passing. He's been efficient, Clay. 1 touchdown pass. Done a good job to start this game.
Kentucky hasn't had real consistency at quarterback since Mike Hartline was their starter back in 2010. It's been a merry-go-round of starters the last few years. I'm hoping Tolles can change that. Looking to throw on 1st down. Comes short to Timmons again. 1st down. A 12-yard pickup. Just a sophomore, but you can tell he is going to be a featured receiver in that core.
Yeah, they had him in the backfield there. They run a little play action. They just slip him out underneath, and they get him the ball and gets a little yak. That's what they're looking out of him. He makes big plays. Again, 75 yards, 3 catches last week. It's one of them guys to keep our eye on in this game.
Good to see Blake Bone back out on the field. He took a hard hit on the first series for Kentucky. He's lined up the bottom of your screen. Tolles looking to throw, gets away from a potential sack and then steps out of bounds about the 42-yard line. Loss on a play. Tony Davis nearly dropped him. You see what Tolles did last week. He hit 9 different receivers.
I love it. You know, talks a little bit about his pre-snap read. Do you see what the defense is trying to do prior to the snap, and then be a facilitator with the football? Don't try to go out there and be Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. Go out there and let your big playmakers make plays. That's what he did last week against UT Martin.
Loss of 4 on the play, 2nd and 14. And bouncing out is JoJo Kemp, still on his feet, into Ohio territory, short of the 1st down. Dropped at the 46-yard line. But a good run by JoJo Kemp, the sophomore out of Florida, the team's returning rusher. top returning rusher from 2013. He showed flashes last year, and he gives it into a situation now where it's 3rd and manageable for Kentucky.
It is, and that's where they want to be in. And with this passing attack, when you got 4 receivers plus a back going out trying to make a catch, 4 yards is not a lot of field to make up.
Time winding down here on the opening quarter. And this time Kemp is sniffed out by Will Johnson, the weak side linebacker, number 43. A loss of 3, and that's how quarter number 1 comes to an end.
There's no question, and that's a great play by the Ohio defense. When they run that read option, the quarterback has to be smart and understand where he's getting off the ball. In football too, he did not pull it out. You get a big loss.
But a win for Kentucky in quarter number 1. They scored twice. It's 14-0 after 15 minutes. Welcome back to the SEC on ESPN alongside former West Virginia and NFL tight end Anthony Becht on Clay Matvick. 14-0 Kentucky after a dominating first quarter. 187 yards of total offense for the Wildcats, just 22 for Ohio, but Kentucky will have to punt here. 4th down and 6 and around midfield to start the second quarter. This is the second punt for Landon Foster. This is going to carry a long way into the end zone, a touchback. And Ohio will have it. As you take a look at their 10th year head coach, Frank Solich, who has really done a great job with that program. Averaged 10 wins per year at Nebraska over 6 seasons, but was let go in 2003, took this job. And he has found great satisfaction rebuilding Ohio and the 5 straight bowl trips that they've gone on.
Yeah, he's done a fantastic job, 6th all time, and Mac wins too. And to me, when you look at him, his team really has the personality of Frank Solich. Discipline, effort, the way they fight. This is one of those games, in those backed up situations, you're down 2 touchdowns. How will this team fight back to get in this game?
Frank will turn 70 years old on Monday, and he doesn't look it. Spry as ever. Darius Vick heaving it downfield, has a receiver down there, and it is incomplete. Chase Cochran, the deep threat for the Bobcats, the guy they call White Lightning. Out of bounds on that play. He was literally struck by lightning as a child, and it's become part of the myth surrounding the speed of Chase Cochran.
It's very deceiving speed on tape, but he does run a very fast 40.
They say it's a low 4.40.
Hey.
4.40. Yeah.
Not even near mine.
Nor mine. Handoff. And there's Daz Patterson again. 127 all-purpose yards last week, but hasn't been able to do much against this Kentucky defense today, which it's kind of a 3-4, sometimes 4-3 setup for DJ Elliott.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's going to run his base. He said he's going to mix it up more. A lot of vanilla last week against UT Martin. Look for them to be more active today at the defense against Ohio.
Comes that crowd again on 3rd down and 7. Ohio yet to convert on 3rd down. Play clock inside 5. Vick getting pressure from the defensive ends, and that's incomplete. Intended for Landon Smith, but well out of his reach. And Ohio goes quietly on offense again.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Vick last week was a 75% completion percentage and just overthrows Landon Smith, who was really open on that vertical seam route that he ran. So another missed opportunity, Clay. We're starting to see some things now. When you don't make those plays against good competition on the road, that's going to be a big factor on why you're not in a football game.
Tim Albin, his 10th year with Frank Solich as offensive coordinator, probably scratching his head right. This one is taken at the 29 by Robinson. Sneaks up to the 39-yard line, so a 10-yard return for the senior out of Georgia. 14-0 Kentucky here in Lexington.
college football is brought to you by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state.
Beautiful vistas of Lexington, Kentucky, alongside Anthony Beck. I'm Clay Matvick. We're going to start racing out of Keeneland again here next month. Now there's our game so far, 187-25 total yards. With that said, Kentucky has had to punt on its last 2 possessions. They've got it here to start this drive at their own 39. Leading 14-0. Tolles to Ryan Timmons. And Timmons is going to get about 7. He's been busy today. That's his 6th catch for 72 yards.
And that's about the 3rd time they've ran that little quick out. Promise you this, Neil Brown is setting something up against this defense. Try to lull them to sleep and catch them over the top, or maybe one of those tunnel screens we've been talking about.
Boom Williams in the backfield. He's got a touchdown run today. He gets it here. Showing some patience, cuts it back up, but it's going to be about a yard short of the first down. I really like the composure of these young players. We're getting a great chance, and I wanted to ask you about that. Is that part of Stoops' strategy to win recruits? If you come to Kentucky, you're going to get to play right away?
Yeah, I think that's a big key. I mean, obviously, when you're bringing these young, big-time players that are getting recruited by the Alabamas and the Notre Dames of the world, you got to find a way to lure them in here. And with the developments they're doing here, putting money into their school, it's definitely a key.
JoJo Kemp out of the Wildcat. And he's got it. First down and more. Spins on his feet inside the 40-yard line. JoJo Kemp, who Neil Brown said was a little tight last week, getting an opportunity to pick up a first down out of the Wildcat. $17 yards on that play, and you see the 2 big recruiting classes for Mark Stoops. Number 20, according to ESPN, last year. Best recruiting class of the internet age. And here's Tolles to throw on first down. He's going for a big play, and they've got it. Baker inside the 5. First down and goal, Kentucky.
Are you impressed by the true freshman wide receivers here? Basically, it's a vertical route. Tolles just waits till he gets down the sidelines. You see right here, he gets a little separation, but you know the most important thing? He leaves a box on the sideline to let himself play off the defender. Watch it right here. Running the vertical route, just pause it. See this box right here? That area, that 5 yards between him and the sidelines. He gets to work that area when he gets a little bump off the defender. Great job. Only a true freshman, Clay.
Going to go to the end zone. Some pushing and shoving there. No penalty flags. And it lands incomplete. There is Blake Bone trying to get separation from Devin Bass, the 2nd-team All-MAC player from a year ago at the cornerback position. And it'll be 2nd and goal.
That's a great play there. 6'5" wide receiver going up for the jump ball. Good call.
6'5" against 5'9", but 5'9" had pretty good position there. 2nd down. They go back to the ground, and Kemp is nearly sawed in half. Quentin Poling, the middle linebacker, starting for the injured Ben Russell, makes the tackle. So now 3rd down and goal for Kentucky.
Good job. The field obviously gets a little tighter down here when you get into close to the goal line. You're a little limited on what you can do. Linebackers come into play, made the nice tackle there to get this 3rd down and goal. Let's see if the Ohio defense can make a nice play here and get a hold here for a field goal attempt.
Now, Ohio definitely needs something to start going their way. 7th play of the drive for the Wildcats. Tolles hits, and he is thrown down, and there is Poling again with the sack. Big play for this Ohio defense as it's now 4th down.
It's a great job by the middle linebacker Poling here. You see him right here, sugar it. He's going to come in. Tolles has got nobody to block him. He's got to hold the ball. Great sack. Here comes the help. A nice job by Ohio. They needed a stop. They got one last series, and they get another one down here tight in the red zone to hold them to a field goal.
So McInnes, try from 28. 1 of 2 last week, missed from 41, made a 20-yarder. And this one is no good. So Ohio keeps Kentucky off the board. They drive inside the 5-yard line, but come up with no points.
That's a great job. I mean, they make a big play down there when it's tight, and they force a missed field goal. That's exactly what you want your defense to do. Offensively now, I know Coach Frank Solich is right now in that huddle telling these guys, we got to wake up. We got to go out there. We got to put a drive together. We are still in this ball game with 10 minutes left in the second quarter. These young men got to step up and answer the bell.
Under 10 minutes to go here in the half. Ohio maybe with some enthusiasm now on their sideline after that stop. Yeah, that's going to be a good one. Looking forward to that. Welcome back here to Lexington. And we've got a new quarterback into the game for Ohio, J.D. Sprague, sophomore out of Cincinnati, in the game. Darius Vick on the Ohio sideline. And Sprague is complete on his first play to Daz Patterson. So apparently the offensive coordinator, Tim Albin, and Frank Solich talked about it, and they decided, let's try J.D. Sprague to maybe spark this offense.
Well, talking to Tim Albin, the offensive coordinator, it didn't seem like he had much patience really across the board for anybody.
Troy Mangin, the tight end, gets a touch for the first time, and Sprague is moving the offense. There's a first down.
Sometimes you get a spark by another player, someone else to come in and give you a different look. Maybe J.D. Sprague can be that guy for Ohio.
Ohio up to now 4 drives, 4 punts. Just one big play from being in this game. Hit the backfield by Josh Forrest is Daz Patterson. Avery Williamson, the linebacker who Forrest replaced. As you see, Darius Vick on the sideline.
Again, Kentucky's defense hasn't seen J.D. Sprague on tape also, so it's a change up for them on what they're going to do moving forward.
Former walk-on J.D. Sprague sets to throw and is complete to the 40-yard line to Herman Brunis, true freshman for the Bobcats. He picks up 8. Fred Tiller, the cornerback, makes the stop.
Again, they get the completion. They get in a manageable third down situation. The ball was a little behind, but he's coming off the bench. Nice job so far.
Sprague was part of the game plan last week for Ohio, but never got on the field because Vick was moving the ball. Sprague, the keeper. Little option play, and he dives to the 45 for a first down. Well, this change of pace so far is working for the Bobcats.
And you see him, he's changing the plays. Look at the quick feet here. Little option run, the old Nebraska play right here. Decides to keep it. Great job.
That's going to be incomplete on that sideline. Aaron Bradley couldn't hold on to it. Second down. And there is definitely a Nebraska feel to this Ohio Bobcats team. Tim Albin, former Nebraska and North Dakota State offensive coordinator, of course, Frank Solich, the former head coach of the Huskers. So you're going to see a little bit of that option flavor.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Plus this offensive coordinator staff, the head coach and the defense coordinator have been together for their 10th straight season. Continuity is key.
4 receivers set, 3 to the near side. Sprague pressured, got it off to Patterson underneath, and he is swallowed up at the 45. No gain. There's a penalty flag on the field. That was Khalid Henderson for Kentucky.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, low hit on the quarterback, below the knees, 15-yard penalties, first down.
Za'Darius Smith.
End of the run, or previous spot.
And he called for the
15.
personal foul. Third team all SEC last year, a junior college transfer a season ago. Had a great year. And that penalty puts it into Kentucky territory at the 40-yard line.
I mean, it looked like he hit him thigh high and then came down and finished up on the ankles when he made the wrap. I don't know about that call there. I know they're making an emphasis on it, but he hit him on the thigh and he rode down to the legs. It looks like a textbook tackle to me.
Sprague to throw over the middle, and that's nearly picked off. Ashley Lowry, third-year starter at free safety, nearly had the third interception for the UK defense this season.
It's really nothing the defense did there. It's just not being in cohesion with your receiver. That will be something to watch as J.D. Sprague, the new quarterback for Ohio, tries to build his rapport with his wide receivers.
Patterson brings a little seam, and he'll bring up third down and short after the pickup of 8. There is Henderson on the tackle for Kentucky. Top returning linebacker for the Wildcats. He had an 89-yard fumble return for a touchdown last week. First time in Kentucky territory for Ohio. They need to pick up this third down. Patterson will not get it. Fourth down for the Bobcats coming up. So what do you do here?
I think you got to go for it. You know, nice momentum on this drive right now. Sprague's doing a good job. Again, they just do the read option. Daz looks like he's going to get through, but he runs into a wall there. Blake McLean's able to pull him out and make the tackle. It's a big play for Ohio's offense trying to convert this fourth down.
They keep Yazdani on the sideline. They're going to go for it. 10th play of the drive. Sprague throws incomplete. Batted down at the 28-yard line. There is Henderson again. Boy, what a great series it was defensively for Khalid Henderson. Intended for Cope. Kentucky's defense stands.
It's a great job by Kentucky's defense. Fourth down, really the first behind-the-wall situation. You see right here, he's going to stay home on this over route. The wide receiver's going to run. He just stays, it reads the quarterback's eyes and knocks it out. It's a great job being in position, understanding your rules, where you're supposed to be, and he ends up making a really nice big play for Kentucky's defense.
With that said, J.D. Sprague moved that Ohio offense. We'll see if they stay with him. 6.5 to go here before halftime. It's a running play. Boom Williams again. With Braylon Hurd out of this game for Kentucky, the transfer from Nebraska has an ankle sprain. We have seen quite a bit of Boom Williams. We've seen JoJo Kemp, even Josh Clemens out there. Picks up a yard, second down and 9 as this Kentucky offense started out fast. First 2 drives, touchdown drives. Last 3 have resulted in punts and a missed field goal. Tolles keeps it himself. Be close to a first down, a little short. Nathan Carpenter, the strong safety, makes the stop. It's a gain of 8.
When you spread your wide receivers out and then you run your tailback out on motion, make it an empty formation, nobody in the backfield, spreads the defense out, get themselves a QB sneak right up the middle for 9 yards, gets himself in another manageable third and short. See if Ohio can stand up firm at the defensive line and make a stop.
Kentucky was 117 in the country last year on third down, just 31%. They're going to pick this one up with Tolles doing the honors. And today, they are 6 of 8 on third down. Amazing what a difference a year makes. I know this is the first couple of weeks of the season, but we're seeing the offense for Kentucky being so efficient in such important areas. Tolles wants to throw again. Deep downfield, misses incomplete. Timmons, the intended receiver, covered down the sideline by Carpenter.
Yeah, you know, you're right. I mean, listen, you got Tolles. A lot of QBs, they play a few plays their true freshman year and you redshirt them the next year. That might be a little bit of a shot of confidence. This kid took it as an advantage. He took the time to work on his mechanics, understand the offense, and it's really, you see the fruits of that labor right there of staying back that season and getting to know what Neil Brown wanted him to do. He wins the quarterback challenge going into camp, and now he's doing a great job for this young team.
2nd and 10. Tolles looked to throw. Now he's going to run again, and he's got room enough for the first down, and he's going to take it out of bounds. Well done by Patrick Tolles. Nifty footwork to pick up 13 and move the chains.
I'll tell you, last week he had a nice 23-yard touchdown run, but here, fakes right. Good job of the offensive line blocking. Look at the moves there. A little juke to the left-hand side, and he's smart. run out of bounds. Don't absorb a blow from the defender. You see him coming up to him right here, and he gets enough speed to get out of bounds. Smart play. That's what you like to see. Not just throwing the ball, but how smart is he when he runs the ball.
Grandson of Hall of Fame pitcher, former U.S. Senator Jim Bunning. He'll run again. And another first down inside the 30. Devin Bass tripped him up, but not before a gain of 16.
Well, let's see the versatility. We talked about Vic being a versatile quarterback for Ohio. Forget that. Tolles is becoming quite a bit of a running back in this offense right now today versus the Ohio defense.
You and I were talking with Neil Brown. He said this kid's a winner. Didn't lose but one time in high school, came here with a winning attitude, and it's really starting to manifest itself in his first year as the starter at Kentucky. 1st and 10. He's going to do it again, and he'll run for 3 this time.
He's going to need some oxygen. Now, listen, I know quarterbacks. He's a pure pocket passer right now for this team, but that's 3 in a row. He's got to be getting gassed here. Let's see if he can build his composure. They're getting in the money zone now, Clay. This is where you got to be at your best as a quarterback.
These guys have to remember to hydrate today, too. It is hot down on the field. Temperatures in the upper 80s, low 90s with a lot of humidity. Thunderstorms, in fact, in the forecast today. Fortunately, we've got sunshine right now. Boom Williams in the backfield. Ohio bringing the pressure. The blitz pays off with a sack. There is Poling coming right up the middle, and that is the 3rd sack for Ohio.
Again, Poling with another great play. They sugar the A-gap here. You see him right here, right on the line of scrimmage, and nobody's there for protection. The floodgates open up, and listen, offensive line has to see that. When that Mike steps up on the line of scrimmage, you have to roll and slide to him, or at least get a backup there to pick him up. Nobody's there. Great play. Good job by Poling there, getting his opportunity and getting another sack.
Redshirt freshman again was not the starter at that position. Ben Russell was, but he's out 4 to 6 weeks with a shoulder injury. And now we've got a timeout called by the Wildcats with 2:37 to go before half. Kentucky has the football. A 3rd and 18 for Tolles and company when we come back.
Matt Chick here in the studio. Coming up at halftime, Kevin Carter will join me. We will look around the SEC, update you on the goings-on, including out west in the Pac-12. USC and Stanford in the top 15 matchup as they close in on halftime. We'll look ahead to Ohio State and Virginia Tech. See you in a few minutes, Clay.
All right, Matt. Thank you. There's Mark Stoops, probably wondering a little bit what happened to his offense, which came out hot here today. Touchdown drives. The first 2 possessions, the last 3 drives haven't amounted to much.
Yeah, well, this has been their first bad quarter of the season. So you got to be able to withstand some of the adversity. Got a few sacks, a few blocking up front issues here and protection. Now they got to put it together, make adjustments, and keep their composure and make plays.
That green line is Austin McGinnis field goal range. We've got a 3rd and 18 here. The 36. And now 4th down. As Tolles is dropped for no gain by Quentin Poling, who has had a great first half.
I kind of question that just because of the fact, yeah, it was 3rd and 18, but if you get yourself 5 or 6 or 7 more yards, you get in field goal range. Now you're forcing yourself to maybe make a deep pass here. Easier coverage for the defense.
Tolles checks to the sideline.
The backers they're going to come up here. You see them right now. They're going to be sugaring up here at the line of scrimmage. Watch these 2 guys right here bring the pressure.
And they're going to let the play clock wind down. Call timeout and likely bring out the field goal unit.
There's their second charge timeout of this half.
Pooch punt. I mean, that's got to be the route they got to go here coming out of this.
All right, we'll see if McGinnis tries an attempt or they'll kick it away. 1:51 to go before half. Kentucky is going to attempt a long field goal. Austin McGinnis, who is 1 for 3 on the year with misses of 41. That was last week, and 28 earlier today, will try from 53. Out of the hold of Jared Leet. This kick is good. Just got it across the crossbar. So Mark Stoops showing some faith in Austin McGinnis, the redshirt freshman who hasn't really had much success yet this year, but he makes it a 17-0 lead.
Well, Clay, just like they build the confidence of the wide receivers, the young group, you got to do the same thing with the kicker. The young man comes in earlier. He misses a chip shot. He said he's good from 50 yards. So what's he do? He throws him out there, and he goes for the 53-yarder. And listen, nice strong leg, gets it right over the bar. That will build the confidence of a young kicker. I promise you that. That will pay dividends. Maybe not now, Clay, but down the road when they start getting into their schedule, that'll make that kid feel a lot better moving forward.
Let's be honest, Kentucky really needed that ahead of halftime.
Yeah, they've been quite stale on offense as far as moving the ball. And again, getting points out of that is impressive.
Austin McGinnis up to that kick. His only make this year was a 20-yarder, but he buries one from 53 to make it 17-0.
Let's see how fired up he is. Usually they kick it out of the end zone after them long field goal attempts.
Well, he had 7 touchbacks last week on kickoff. Alongside Anthony Beck, Clay Matvick here at Commonwealth Stadium, which is undergoing a multi-million-dollar facelift. It really has an exciting feel around here. See all the construction equipment, all the great work that's being done on this facility. Into the end zone. Devin Bass will not bring it up. Another touchback out to the 25. Ohio will have 1 minute and 45 seconds to work with here. As you look at their drive chart, not very impressive.
It's not. Their last drive was their best, and that's when their replacement quarterback, J.D. Sprague, came in to get some work. So let's see where Frank Solich goes right now. You have 1 minute and 45 seconds. Got to be smart here. You don't want to force anything, Clay. Sometimes in these situations, you try to get into field goal range or get a drive towards the end of the half. You end up throwing one up, and the defense takes advantage on an interception. And Kentucky had 2 of them last week. So, again, new quarterback. They're trying a different route, try to keep that momentum going that they had on that last drive, even though they weren't successful in getting any points.
Bobcats pick 3rd in the MAC East this year. Give it to Patterson again. He'll pick up 3, maybe 4. Pick 3rd in the East behind Bowling Green and Akron. Frank Solich will tell you he likes the makeup of his team, even though it's almost a complete rebuild on offense. They lost a lot from a year ago. Sprague to the outside, has a receiver, but it's incomplete. Brendan Cope had it in his hands, and then A.J. Stamps having such an impressive start to his career at Kentucky. The JC transfer makes another nice play.
It's all about range, and when you loft the ball up this high, you better watch out, because number 1's a real deal, folks. He's a big-time SEC strong safety.
He had an interception last week. He had a tackle against UT Martin where he practically sawed a guy in half. And now it's 3rd down and 7 for the Bobcats. Sprague feeling the heat. Out of the pocket, pumps, runs, 1st down and more. Out close to midfield before he's upended by Lowry. Big run for J.D. Sprague. Give him 20.
Wasn't even thinking about sliding. This kid's driving off adrenaline right now, just trying to move the offense. Great job. Listen, it's nobody's home. He takes the ball, sees the natural seam, and gets himself a big play to get it across midfield. Almost across midfield.
Timeout, Ohio.
Right here, just trying to get it out. They converge the pocket, just tucks it down. Now slide. No, maybe not. He's going to try to get up the field. Great job. Got to be protective. But again, this kid, he probably didn't feel that, Clay. He's running off the juices right. You see Vic right next to him trying to help him out. Got to like that. But again, he's been a bit of a spark for this team.
Yes, he has. J.D. Sprague has come on and given this team a lift. As we get ready for halftime, we're going to look around the SEC, talk about the Pac-12, and also that Virginia Tech Ohio State showdown tonight. Number 8 Ohio State. And of course, Frank Beamer always That's a good team year in and year out with the Hokies. 17-0 Kentucky leading, 1:12 to go here before halftime. First down and 10 for Ohio. Trying to get on the board before they have to go into the locker room. J.D. Sprague, the backup, out of the pocket again, throws it downfield, and it's nearly intercepted. Fred Tiller, with his first career interception last week, saw that one go off his fingertips.
Yeah, very fortunate there. They get the incompletion, so the clock stops. And not a bad play getting it out of bounds there. Just got to get a little higher. Make sure those defenders can't snag it down.
Ohio lost Tyler Tettleton, their great quarterback, best running backs from last year, and their top wide receiver. New look Ohio offense from a year ago. Sprague, penalty flag down. Has a receiver caught at the 40-yard line. There's Chase Cochran coming back to the ball, but there's a flag behind the play. We'll see what's going to come out of this. Looks like a hold.
Yeah, it's going to be on the right tackle. I think the crowd helped call that one for the referee staff here. Got his clamps on Dupree coming around the edge. It's a tough matchup for the right tackle of Ohio.
Holding number 74, offense, 10-yard penalty. Replay the down.
Dupree had 61 tackles last year and 7 sacks. You know, if I was out there on him, I'd probably hold him too.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And McCray, you know, he's playing the right tackle position. He's filling in right now. He's a true freshman, folks. So trust me, Dupree's going to be over this young man who's filling in for Watson, the starter.
2nd and 20. Patterson in the flat. Starts it upfield, gets a few yards back. And he's out of bounds with 49 seconds to go. And 3rd down. At the 45-yard line.
Not an ideal situation. 3rd and long now. You got a true freshman filling in over the SEC's best pass rusher, Dupree. Let's see this matchup here.
Kentucky trying to pitch a shutout here in the first half. Ooh, they had Sprague. He gets away. Good block behind the play, and now a catch at the 42-yard line by Landon Smith. Injured most of last year. He is going to be a big receiver for this offense. Picks up 14 and a first down into Kentucky territory. And a timeout called by Ohio with 38 seconds to go.
Excellent job. You see here Sprague, he feels the pressure. He's sitting in the pocket. Tough to throw when you're rolling left with your right-handed. Good job by Landon Smith coming back to the football. Changes his route, helps his quarterback out. And you know what? He's past the sticks. He gets a first down. I'll tell you, it's a good drive. They can end up getting something on this drive. That'll help them heading out into halftime for this Ohio football team.
Let's take a look at our game track. Brought to you by Taco Bell. 17-0, just ahead of halftime, but Ohio is driving. Patrick Towles, pretty good first half, especially in that first quarter. Say that about the entire Kentucky offense. Looked really good early in the game. Not so much here in the second quarter.
Yeah, well, you're only as good as your quarterback is as far as starting the game out. They gave him good protection. The defenses for Ohio's done a good job mixing it up and giving them some problems offensively. Ohio has to take advantage on offense now.
38 seconds to go before half, and that's batted down at the line. Bud Dupree. Again, he's a defensive end, but he has the speed to play outside linebacker, and they switched to that 3-4 look in running situations or passing situations. He's such a great defender.
And he showed you his versatility, and the next level is going to love that. He can put his hand on the dirt. He can be a stand-up rusher. There's a lot of things he brings to the plate as a defensive end slash linebacker. 2nd
and 10. Complete. Cochran makes the catch. A few yards shy of the first down, and the clock continues to run, but now they're going to stop it because Cochran is down. And it would be terrible for Ohio if they lose him. The Bobcats lost 5 of their top 6 pass catchers from last year. Cochran is the only one left.
Yeah, there's no question about it. These are big down the field big playmaker, 18 yards per catch throughout his career, and he would be a loss for them. And Vic, who was their original starting quarterback, builds a nice rapport with him. Now Sprague comes in. He's moving the ball around pretty good to all his receivers.
They get him up. Looks like he's going to be all right. So now 3rd and 3 for Ohio.
Again, last time in this similar situation, Henderson stays home at the linebacker position, is able to make a big play. Let's see if Ohio's got an answer to what the defense is trying to do against them.
They are getting close.
16 seconds.
To Josiah Yazdani field goal range. He has a long of 49, and you can see they're about a yard shy of his range. Took some time off the clock. 16 seconds, and it is complete. And it's going to be a first down. Stopping the clock with 9 seconds. There's Sebastian Smith on the catch.
Good job. 2-minute offense. A quick out. Catch the ball clean. Get out of bounds. Move the chains. Got 9 seconds left. Now you're in range for your field goal kicker.
Ohio with 1 timeout left. 9 seconds to go before halftime. Sprague hands off. And it's Patterson. They'll play it safe here. And now a timeout called. The last timeout for Ohio here in the half. 5 seconds to go. And they're going to bring Yazdani on, who was the hero last week. Game-winning 44-yarder at Kent State. They call him Yazamatic.
Well, he gave him a lift. They gave him a lift last week. You see him here. Game-winning field goal against Kent State. First game of the season, Clay. There's nothing more exciting than getting a game-winning kick for a kicker. See a little bounce with Frank Solich going on 70 years old. Gotta love it.
He really saved the day because Ohio almost killed themselves in that game. They turned it over on 4 straight possessions, 4 straight fumbles, still managed to win the game because of Yazdani's foot. Now he's going to try and put him on the board here at the end of the first half. A 42-yard attempt. Bonstetter to hold. Miles Chapman the snap. It's on the way, but it's going to be pushed wide right. And that's how the first half comes to an end. Kentucky scored early. Touchdowns on the first 2 drives. And McGinnis with a 53-yard field goal on Kentucky's last possession. So it's 17-0 as the teams head to the locker room. Now let's go to the studio. College football halftime report. Matt and Kevin. Back here in Lexington and the SEC on ESPN. Not quite like it was a week ago for the Kentucky offense. But certainly they came out fast. With Patrick Tolles at the controls here today. And that's really the difference in this game. It's 17-0. Meanwhile, the Ohio offense struggled almost the entirety of the first half, Anthony.
Yeah, you know, Kentucky's played well both sides of the football. Ohio has to find some way to get a passing game. They decided to go with their 2nd-string quarterback in Sprague. Let's see if they stick with him and get some big plays on offense.
I guess I'd be shocked if they didn't. They had a field goal attempt at the end of the first half that was missed, but certainly J.D. Sprague brought something offensively that Darius Vick was not. In fact, Vick was 0 for 6 on the first 3 series before Ohio decided to make the change. Well,
you know, to Vick's credit, he dropped 2 perfect balls that they dropped for him. Daz Patterson missed a wheel route and a swing pass, and then Vick misses a seam route the next series. So again, if you don't complete balls, Frank Solich isn't afraid to make changes.
Ohio's going to start with the football here in the second half, down 17. They're going to bring it out. This is Devin Bass. And he's going to only get to the 20. So that's a net loss of 5. Had he taken a knee, it would have been out to the 25. So here we go at the second half. This is the first time that Kentucky has shut out back-to-back opponents in the first half since 1988. They shut out UT Martin last week in the first half, shut out Ohio here today in the first half. What stands out for you, Anthony?
Well, right here, like I said, this all here is Sprague coming in as the backup option, and they're going to keep it with him in the second half. For Kentucky, great balance. Look at these two numbers here, running and passing. Perfect balance. Neil Brown's got to be happy with the offensive production today.
It is J.D. Sprague, the former walk-on, starting the second half at quarterback. And he is going to be hit, but gets away. Sprague on the move, finds a receiver. It's caught at the 35-yard line by Cope, and a good run after the catch into Kentucky territory. Big play on first down for Ohio. Here they go. A 35-yard play.
Pocket awareness by the backup quarterback, feeling the blitz, an unblocked player, and gets it, loops around. Great job by getting the complete ball.
Daz Patterson will run. And it's a good one to the 35. Brendan Cope, that receiver, he's got some big playability, and Sprague found him.
Yeah, you see right there, he's able to get around the sack. Still keeps his eyes downfield. Great trait by a quarterback.
It's Patterson again. Lowers his head, and it looks like he's got the first down. A.J. Stamp steps up to make the tackle with Henderson. But Ohio is going to move the chains. There's Frank Solich, the Ohio native. Since taking over the program, he has built a perennial MAC title contender. However, they have not won the MAC championship under Frank, and that's certainly his next goal. First down and 10 for the Bobcats on their opening series of the half. It's Patterson looking for room here on the near side. He'll be stopped at the 32. Second down. Melvin Lewis, the defensive tackle, junior college transfer who Kentucky redshirted last year, makes the tackle. Second down and 9 for Ohio. Sprague looked to the sideline, and the ball was snapped on him. Lucas Powell snapped it back, and it's recovered by Patterson, fortunately for Ohio. It's a loss of 12 on that play. And that look says it all.
And the center quarterback exchange. Obviously, Vic's been the guy that Powell's been working with. He understands and knows what he does as a QB. Sprague comes in, decides to change or looking for a different play. Lucky for Ohio there that Daz Patterson was in place to fall on that football.
Yeah, had that been an empty backfield, might have been Kentucky picking it up and running the other way. So 3rd and 21. Sprague comes underneath to Patterson. Steps out at one tackle, gets back to the original line of scrimmage, and then a couple more yards. Still on his feet. What a run by Patterson. After that catch, a 14-yard pickup down to the 27-yard line. Stamps again credited with the tackle. What effort, though. It'll bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, how about this move right here? Getting confidence. He's getting his big boys out in front. You think he's going to go down. They're trying to strip it. Look how he keeps his balance. That's a play that Daz Patterson needed to raise his confidence level. Hopefully, he can continue to play that way throughout this game.
Pardon me, 4th down and a 44-yard field goal attempt for Yazdani, who missed from 42 just ahead of halftime.
And again, they don't have the lineman situation. I have to speed it up. This takes the flow away from the kicker.
This one for Yazdani is going to be good. And Ohio is on the board. So some ups and downs on that series, but Frank Solich is clapping. For the first time, the Bobcats get some points. Let's take a look at our Buick Drive recap, which leads to a field goal for the Ohio Bobcats. And J.D. Sprague starts the second half. Did not start the game. He's been more effective moving this Ohio offense. The big play was the reception, 36 yards to Cope.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate they had the bad snap that set them back to really get this play back into field goal range, and a really nice kick. by their efficient kicker to get them 3 points on the board.
Sprague 2 for 2, 53 yards on the drive. He's 9 of 15, now over 100 yards passing. And Ohio's in this football game.
They are. 2 touchdowns is 2 possessions. So right now they got to feel better, at least on offense, than what they did on that first drive.
And Kentucky will start at the 25 as Boom Williams fields it in the end zone. Really liked Patrick Tolles, especially early in this game today. He was 10 of 17, 131 and a touchdown. Also ran 13 times for 37 yards. 4 different receivers today. It seems like we're seeing less guys involved here today, obviously because the game's tighter.
Well, they started off fast. You talked about that. But I think Ohio's defense has sprinkled up some different things, some blitzes, and they weren't able to pick it up. It's a little different now at halftime when you come in, not up 42+ points. Now you got to make changes. Let's see if they're able to do some things to correct those mistakes and get this offense going in the second half.
First play is going to be a pass, and Tolles is complete at about the 29-yard line and driven down. Timmons makes the catch. Jones on the stop. It's a gain of 4, maybe 5. Timmons 7 catches, 78 yards today.
That's the 3rd time we've seen that little out route by Timmons. I promise you, something's getting brewed and set up there. Let's see if they can get a big play by these young receivers.
5 receivers set. Tolles alone in the backfield. Quick strike. And it is complete for a first down. Kentucky will get a new set of downs as Joey Herrick hauls it in. Javon Johnson, the Sam linebacker, brings him down. It's a gain of 6 and a first down.
They really like Herrick. He's not the fastest receiver, but he does everything right. He catches everything thrown his way. He's a solid all-around player that does it and gets the play done for this offense.
Michael Horton, another true freshman for Kentucky, checks in at running back. He's number 4. Kentucky with new gray jerseys, wearing these for the first time. Tolles ducks away from one potential tackler. Now he's on the run. First down, Patrick Tolles. There's a big hit by Dorian Baker on Javon Johnson. Johnson was eyeing up Tolles for a hit of his own, and Baker took him out.
I'll tell you, the true freshman showing his ability there. And you see here, good job. Watch this, Javon Johnson doesn't even know he's coming. That's how you get them big blocks, keeping those big defenders off the quarterback.
Dorian Baker with a touchdown today, and that big hit. He is playing like an upperclassman. Now Tolles wants a big play downfield, contact and a flag. Devin Bass on the coverage. Blake Bone, the intended receiver, and the flag comes out.
You know, that really looked like good coverage by Bass. We'll have to see the replay to see exactly where the contact was against Bone.
7 defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That is such a mismatch height-wise. 5'9" compared to 6'5".
You know, right now they're both jostling. The ball's up. You can see the tug on the right hand, the right arm right there. You see his arm pulling down on Bone, and they are going to call that every time. Bass, their best cover corner. That's a matchup right now that favors the 6'5" Bone.
Now Clemens in at running back for Kentucky. Tolles wants to throw again. Down the far sideline, and that's knocked down by Bass. So Bass wins that battle.
You got to have a short-term memory if you're a corner when you play the game of football. Excellent job. Watch this, man to coverage right up on him. Ball's up in the air. You can see the shadow actually uses that to an advantage. I'm sure turns around. Perfect timing. It knocks it down. That's why Bass was last year second team All-MAC.
DeMarco Robinson, the intended receiver on that play. They'll go to the ground, and Clemens with some room right up the middle. He's been close to a first down. Thad Ingle, the free safety. Senior makes the stop.
The rare times you see Tolles under center there. Just a simple down power play. Get a nice run by Clemens. 3rd and manageable coming up.
Timmons comes back in at wide receiver. Should mention Javis Blue. We talked about it in the first half. He is out today with an ankle injury. JoJo Kemp at the Wildcat. And it is Kemp again. Into the second level. Down at the 24-yard line. That's a first down. We've seen Kemp on the Wildcat a couple of times here today.
Yeah, he's done a really nice job. When he gets the ball, his legs are driving and pumping. Got a nice high leg pump. Gets him going. Great quickness. He's done a good job on his 8 opportunities today. Almost a 5-yard average every time he touches the rock.
So first down and 10 for Kentucky. This will be the 7th play of the drive. Tolles incomplete. And that was Garrett Johnson that time, the intended receiver. Javon Johnson in on the coverage. A lot of new talent out there for Kentucky. 30 players who didn't play last year played last week, including 9 true freshmen. And we're seeing a lot of young guys getting activity again today for Mark Stoops. This is their first drive of the second half. Tolles fakes the handoff, keeps. Get brought down at the 21. It's going to be a third down situation coming up and about 6 yards to go for the first.
I'll say this. I'd say about 95% of the passes for Kentucky have been outside the hash marks. I see the middle of the field opening up. Let's see if they try to go vertically with either a big tight end or one of their fast receivers to try to get through the wide two-up cover safeties that Ohio's playing.
Today on third down, Kentucky 7 of 11. They need the 14-yard line. Play clock inside of 5. Pressure. Tolles gets it to Kemp. Kemp, after the catch, is going to be stopped short of the first down. Ian Wells and Thad Engel combine on the stop, and now we'll see what Kentucky does here on 4th down.
Yeah, it's a good job. Looks like they're going to go for it. They got their big personnel in. 1 yard. Get your big people. Got a big quarterback here. See a sneak.
The official gets out of the way. It is Tolles on the sneak. See where they spot it.
Yeah, that doesn't look like a favorable spot for Kentucky. Get a measurement on that.
Yeah, I think they are. And the crowd not happy with that spot either. And they will bring out the chains. Now the crowd happy again.
Our yellow line is a little deceiving there.
That is not 100% accurate. It's a pretty good indication of where the first down marker is. We do it for your advantage at home, maybe to help you enjoy the game a little bit more, but it's not completely accurate. Pretty close, though. Here's the 11th play of the drive now as Kentucky gets a new set of downs. JoJo Kemp. JoJo Kemp had 8 carries for 31 yards last week. He's been a little more involved here today. 9 carries, 28 yards. He had a touchdown last week. In fact, the first of the season for Kentucky. As Clemens comes back in. Tolles under center now on 2nd and 7. He goes to Clemens. And Blair Brown makes the stop. You wonder here, Anthony, how much we would be seeing Braylon Hurd if he were healthy.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, he was such a spark for them last week. To me, offensively now in the second half for Kentucky, not a lot of pizzazz. We haven't seen those creative plays we've seen last week, the first half of this game, really trying to run the football efficiently. Let's see here on third down if they go to the air and try to attack the end zone.
Third down and 5. Tolles running out of time, and down he goes. Sacked at the 15-yard line. The 4th sack by the Ohio defense today. This time it's Kendrick Smith, the 3rd-year defensive end, 1st-year starter.
Well, great coverage on the back end. Smith gets a good pass rush, just continues to work. You see at the top of your screen, left tackle gets off a little bit, nice underneath move. Tolles has found those holes earlier in the game to run through. Now they're home to converge and make those tackle. Great job on defense for Ohio.
Austin McGinnis hit that 53-yarder in the first half. From 33 is good. Make it 20-3. But this offense certainly doesn't look as good as it did in the first quarter. Advocate Anthony Becht back here in Lexington, and there's the format. The Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl are the semifinals this year, and then the national championship game on January 12th. All right, if you were on the 13-member committee, you're not, Anthony. But if you were, who would be your 4 teams after week 1?
Well, just after week 1, I'm going to stick with Florida State. Listen, they played a tough opponent week 1 against Oklahoma State. They're the defending champion. Number 2, I have Georgia. They really showed up with that great running game and played strong defense in the second half. 4th, I got Texas A&M, another SEC team, jumped in with Kenny Hill on the scene. Last, Michigan State. We'll see today how far they can jump up playing at Oregon. Be a great matchup.
That game is just underway out west. 20-3, Kentucky now with 6:17 to go in the third quarter. And Kentucky in the red zone, 2 for 3 now, a touchdown and a field goal. Here's the AP top 10. And the real ranking, so to speak, that really matters won't come out until late October. That's where the committee will put out their ranking for the first time.
And I'll tell you what, when that comes out and when you start matching it up to something like this, the AP poll or the coaches poll,
that's when the arguments start.
Exactly. It's not going to look anything like it. So the eyeball test is going to be key for those 13 members in the committee when they see and go over their list of top teams.
I think Mark Stoops is happy right now.
Well, he's a defensive coach. He loves the way his defense is playing. He'd love to see his offense get off to a better start here in the second half. Let's see if the defense continues to play well.
J.D. Sprague in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Aaron Bradley. There have been several drops by the receiving corps today for Ohio. Hasn't helped the cause for the Bobcats.
It's unfortunate. They haven't had much continuity at all with the wide receivers. They can't get the ball on target. They've gotten out of their game plan. They can't run what they want. It's got to be aggravating if you're an offensive coordinator trying to get something to spark this football team on offense for Ohio.
Coming out that 17-14 win at Kent State last week. Trying to come from behind here on the road at Kentucky, and down goes Sprague. Ryan Flanagan with the sack, and that is the first sack for the Kentucky defense this afternoon.
Well, it's time to bring pressure. Mark Stoops draws one up here, gets his offense. See right here, number 33 coming off the edge. They also bring the pressure on the left side of your screen. You better block him. If not, they're going to get to the quarterback. Great job by the Kentucky defense. Now 3rd and forever for Ohio.
Flanagan, a junior college transfer that Stoops brought in. That was a loss of 10, so now 3rd and a cab ride. Low snap. Sprague will get back to the original line of scrimmage. 4th down, and Ohio will have to punt.
And as for much as we're talking about Ohio trying to get on track, let's give the credit to the defense. DJ Ellis did a great job calling different types of coverages, different sets to keep this offense off track. Kentucky's done a great job in this game, only holding the team to 173 total yards so far through 3 quarters.
5th punt for the Bobcats today. This is a short, wobbly kick, checks up at the 50-yard line and goes out of bounds. Not a good kick for Bonstetter. Good field position for the Wildcats after that 29-yard punt. The defense has played outstanding today for the Wildcats. It's a 17-point lead for Kentucky. Tonight, the SEC Network's full day of gridiron action concludes at 7:30 as Sam Houston takes on number 12 LSU and Lamar battling number 9 Texas A&M. Go to secnetwork.com/channel to find the channel number in your area. Games also available live on Watch ESPN. And that contest, the first played in the newly expanded Tiger Stadium with a capacity of 102,000 plus. You and I are going to be there next week. It's always fun to be in Baton Rouge on Saturday night. And after week 1 of the SEC slate of games, what were your impressions of the conference?
Well, it's still strong. There's no question about it. LSU plays a tough matchup and beats Wisconsin. You have Auburn that wins a tough game. Georgia coming out to the gate the way they did. Listen, they're still got a lot of teams. Alabama struggled a little bit against West Virginia, but to me, they're going to be right there. I like the early season games that they start out with to get their teams geared up for the season.
There's motion on the right side of that Kentucky line. Looked like Jordan Swindle jumped.
False start, 70 offense, 5-yard penalty remains, first down.
Kentucky's going to be at Florida next week. Then they have a bye, and then they host Vanderbilt. They have a 16-game SEC losing streak that they're going to try and put to bed here shortly. Many think that's going to end soon. And a lot of people in this building right now even think that maybe this team is ready to flirt with bowl eligibility. 1st and 15 for Kentucky. Tolles, and some wires got crossed there. Boone Williams, the intended receiver, is going to bring up 3rd down. Here's Kentucky's schedule. Now, is it too early to start talking in those terms? Bowls again for Kentucky?
Well, if you talk to Kentucky staff, it is. But, you know, listen, they catch Florida early. Okay, Florida's game got canceled last week, so they haven't been on the field yet. They might be catching a break there early and be competitive enough to go into Florida and see what they have. Then they have Vanderbilt, who struggled in their first game against Temple.
I don't know if there was a team that looked worse, not just in the conference, but in the entire country, than Vanderbilt last week. Good effort after the catch by T.V. Williams, the very fast true freshman. He'll get only 4. It's going to be a 3rd down and very long here for Ohio. Or excuse me, for Kentucky.
I give a lot of credit to defensive coordinator for Ohio, Jimmy Burrow. He's done a nice job. The quick start by Kentucky to start this game, but they made adjustments and played well. We got to see something out of Ohio's offense. Let's see if Kentucky can get a long play here and convert a 1st down.
Jimmy Burrow, former Nebraska defensive back. He's been with Solich for the entire 10 seasons he's been head coach at Ohio. Tolles gets rid of it. Finds Timmons, 1st down, Kentucky. That's that composure and swagger that Neil Brown loves about his quarterback.
That was really nice. Nice throw, nice catch. Timmons has been running this 5-yard out the whole game. They need the 1st down, so they just said, "No what? Take it to 10 yards." They clear out the corner on the outside. Bass gets ran out. Wide open throw. Good job. Great connection.
Timmons, the 2nd leading receiver as a true freshman last year. They are going to really count on him this season. He had 75 yards and catches last week. Tolles knocked down, and that was nearly picked off by Poling, who continues to shine on defense for the Bobcats.
He has. He's stepped in and done a great job. You see right here, they tried to pump fake a quick pass and then catch the next hole. But right there, Poling just sits in there, waits for the coverage, sees it coming, and makes a nice deflection.
JoJo Kemp and Josh Clemens in the backfield with Tolles. Tolles now 15 of 26 for 164. Also has a touchdown pass. Throws here to the outside. It's complete. It's Timmons again trying to spin out of a tackle. Gets it to the 35, a couple of yards short of the 1st down before Carpenter makes the tackle. Nathan Carpenter, his dad Rob played 10 years in the NFL. So 3rd down and 2 for Kentucky.
See a really nice connection being built there between Tolles and Timmons. It's going to need that moving forward as they get into this SEC schedule.
It's a big 3rd down for this offense, which hasn't been in the end zone since the midway point of the 1st quarter. Tolles will keep it himself, and he muscles his way through 2 potential tacklers to get the 1st down. He just ran over Wells and Poling to get the 3 yards.
Really been a different style of offense for Kentucky. Short yardage opportunities. They're using the big quarterback to get those 1st downs.
Now flag. It's over on the far side of the field. Didn't see it.
Sportsmanlike conduct foul. It'll be 15 yards, 1st and 10.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on Timmons. And it was after the play. That's why the late flag.
Might have been jawing to the DB. You see Stoops there talking to him. Listen, you know, you got young players. They get excited. They start doing some good things on the field. You got to be composed. And I think that's the next step for these young players. I make big plays. You got good athletes. Now, how do you become smart, pro-type style players that make good decisions right there? That'll be an example. Good teaching moment right there for this young team.
Back it up to the 46-yard line. 1st down. They'll go to Clemens. Josh Clemens finally healthy after missing the past 2 years with injuries. He gets 5, so 2nd down and 5. I mean, this is a pretty deep running back core for Kentucky, essentially 5 deep when they get Hurd back.
Yeah, and Hurd's probably the best out of all of them. The transfer from Nebraska. He had 2 runs last week. Pretty efficient, Clay. 2 touchdowns, 73 yards and 43. And he hasn't even been on the field today because of injury.
He was joking with reporters this week he was going to retire after that. Clemens lowers his shoulder, and he's going to be close to another Kentucky 1st down. Indeed, he's got it. Cody Grillio, the former walk-on linebacker, makes the stop. But Kentucky will pick up the 1st. And a man is down. It's Tony Davis, the nose tackle. They're going to take a look at Tony Davis. And while they do, we step aside. 20-3 Kentucky.
I don't know if the game plan is have this young man run, you know, 15+ times in a football game.
Probably not.
Yeah, so.
You know, because it is the air raid offense after all.
It is. And you know, you take what they give you as an offense when you're playing a defense like this. But then again, he's a smart runner. I'll give him that. He hasn't put himself in danger.
Out here, the Wildcats have a 17-point lead after 3 quarters here at home at Commonwealth Stadium in Lexington. But Ohio is still in this football game. 4th quarter begins when we come back. Welcome back to the SEC on ESPN and Commonwealth Stadium, where tickets are increasingly harder to get for Kentucky football. They lead it going to the 4th quarter. And in between quarters, there is the former Kentucky quarterback, Jared Lorenzen, out trying to rally the troops, getting this crowd all fired up.
Tell you what, he put up some big numbers when he played here at Kentucky.
In fact, he was a former quarterback coach of Patrick Tolles at Highlands High School. And here is Tolles to the end zone. Should have been caught. Stephen Borden, the tight end, saw it go in and out of his hands. So now 4th down for Kentucky. And the field goal unit will come back again.
They set it up perfect. They've been running downhill, downhill, downhill. Now you get your chance. Play action pass. And the tight end drops at Borden. I was talking him up, hoping he'd make a big play. Got to pull that in.
Guinness will try from 35. No. And Kentucky comes up empty on this series. That dies out inside the red zone again. So Kentucky should have had a touchdown here. Borden, the senior tight end, dropped it.
See right here, it's a corner route. Right through his hands. It's not a great feeling. Obviously, you throw a nice ball, you want to get that in. It's frustrating.
Borden and Ronnie Shields will be the primary tight ends this year. Kentucky graduated 3 senior tight ends from a year ago. Now it's starting to rain here in Lexington. Fans scurrying for their umbrellas and their ponchos, and some are just saying, I'm going to go get the cover. J.D. Sprague has moved the offense better than Darius Vick did. Vick started the game as the quarterback for the first 3 series, but still Ohio's had a hard time getting anything substantial going offensively.
To be honest with you, in the passing game, they haven't been able to do anything to put any pressure on this Kentucky back 4 really defensive set. So until they do that, Kentucky's going to keep everything in front of them, keep pass rushing, and continue to stop them until they make a big play.
Rain coming down a little harder now on 2nd and 4. They run, and Daz Patterson will pick up the first down out to the 32-yard line. The rain is not a big deal. They will continue to play. What we're worried about is lightning. We've seen that come into play already early in this college football season. Florida's game last week was canceled. Alabama's game with Florida Atlantic today was stopped with about 7 minutes to go in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, obviously, and with the rain, when they're playing, that changes the complexion of how you hold the football, how many times you throw. So look for that moving forward also.
Sprague will throw here, and he's complete to the 48. Brunis into Kentucky territory, on his feet to the 45-yard line before he's whistled down. A gain of 22. Forrest and Quinn credited with the stop.
Well, they're going deep down the receiver list. Brunis gets a chance now to make some plays. A lot of new faces in there right now for Ohio, trying to find something with this offense.
Patterson hitting the backfield, dumped by Jason Hatcher. It's going to be a loss of 2. We have not seen Bud Dupree on the last couple of defensive series. He went to the locker room, and we hope that it's nothing serious for Bud Dupree. Certainly Kentucky would be a lesser defense without their star. That's through the hands of Brunis, that time incomplete, so it's 3rd down and 12.
And again, you got to make these plays if you're a wide receiver. Your quarterback puts a ball out there. Yeah, it was a little high, but you got to have that catch. You got to be able to make it. Just make a big catch before you get the opportunities when they come. This Ohio team hasn't taken advantage of big plays, and that's what's caused them, even in this situation, being in 3rd and 12.
Just saw Dupree on the sideline, but he has not been on the field here recently. 3rd and 12. Incomplete. It was Brunis again. The guy that Sprague was trying to hit stamps in on the coverage. 4th down. And the Ohio offense is now going to start a walk off the field. The punting unit will come out.
And you see that confusion, receiving quarterback combination. You got your backup coming in. Receiver doesn't get the proper depth, or maybe the quarterback doesn't have the feel for the new receiver, and that's what happens. The receiver's not turned, the head's not around when the ball's in the air.
Be a delay of game.
Delay game, number 49 offense. 5-yard penalty, 4th down. Clock will start on the snap.
DeMarco Robinson is standing at the Kentucky 10-yard line to return this punt. A little surprised we haven't seen Ryan Timmons in that punt return role here today. They talked about maybe getting him some touches as a punt return specialist. This is another bad punt by Bonstetter. But it takes a nice Ohio roll inside the 15-yard line and down to the 12. Rain coming down a lot harder now here in Lexington, but we play on. Kentucky 20, Ohio 3 here in the 4th quarter.
ESPNU College Football is brought to you by Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy.
Look at that bright sunshine from earlier in this game. The rain has really started to come down. It is coming down in sheets as Kentucky is 1st and 10 At the 12-yard line, there's Michael Horton on the carry for Kentucky. It was 90 degrees and very humid at kickoff. It is now much cooler, and that's welcome. With that said, it is going to be hard for these teams to do much down there because it is going to get sloppy, and it's going to be hard to see.
Look for a heavy dose of the old, what do they call it, running play? At least out of Kentucky, with 12 minutes left, they're going to try to get first downs on the ground and churn this clock and really get out of here.
Surprisingly, Toll stays out of the gun. Handoff, big hole. Michael Horton, another true freshman. The power back, 6'1", 230 pounds. Makes his way upfield for 23 yards.
Well, just when you think you got a good running back in Hurd, then Kemp comes in and runs the ball. Then boom, Williams takes one to the house. Clemens comes in and runs downfield. And now you go even deeper with Michael Horton. Great run. Protect the football, guys. This is the type of game you get some real good work here from the offensive line in the trenches. Just protect the football. Be smart. See what you can do in this running game.
Horton had a couple of touchdown runs last week. Part of that overall great performance by the rookie class. He carries here for a few yards. And again, Braylon Hurd, the junior transfer from Nebraska, out of this game with an ankle injury. We don't think it's serious. We think that it's going to be a short-term injury for Hurd, and they hope he's back next week. But he has a sprained right ankle and didn't even suit up today.
Yeah, there he is. He's got his jersey on. But what a great luxury for Neil Brown and his offense. He's got these quick backs, 189 pounds, and then a guy like Clemens at 225 and Horton at 230 comes in. They can mash the football.
A stiff arm, but Horton goes nowhere. Braylon Hurd went to Cardinal Mooney High School in Youngstown, Ohio, just as Mark Stoops did. Of course, Mark's dad, the late Ron Sr., was a coach there. He coached all four of the Stoops brothers at Cardinal Mooney, and you got to believe that that played in to the decision for Braylon Hurd to transfer here to Kentucky and play for Coach Stoops.
There's no question about it. He's done an excellent job of really building a rapport with these players, getting them to come to the school, get some excitement back in Kentucky football.
3rd down and 6. Tolles wants to throw. Does, in and out of the hands of DeMarco Robinson, but you can't blame him. It is going to be hard to catch anything right now. Let's go back to last week. 2 touches, 2 long runs to the end zone for Braylon Hurd. What a debut in his first game as a Kentucky Wildcat.
Yeah, no question. You see there the same 2 plays. We saw Boone Williams on the same play, except nobody's catching Hurd on those plays, and you see him high step that last defender on that touchdown run. That's where he tweaked his ankle, so they're being protective in this game, but it doesn't look like it's too much of an issue with the depth at running back right now.
You know, it's killing him sitting out today. He already sat out last year because of the transfer rules. Was itching to get on the field for months, and when he does, he has a great showing like that last week, and then right away back to the sideline because of an injury. 47-yard punt. We're under 10 minutes to go in this monsoon here in Lexington. Come on back. It's soggy, but we're having fun. Monday Night Football is back with a Week 1 doubleheader at 7:10. Eli Manning and the Giants taking on the Lions. Then the Chargers and Cardinals at 10:20. Monday Night Football on ESPN. All right, out of those 4 teams, Mr. Former NFL tight end, which one made the playoffs last year?
I'm going to say the Chargers made it. And Arizona, actually, I believe, had 10 wins.
That's correct.
And they were denied a spot in the playoff race last year.
That's so. Good to have Monday Night Football back. On to the 22. That is Cope with the reception for Ohio. The rain has let up a little bit, but it is still raining here in Lexington. Now, Ohio's had a hard time moving the ball all day. This rain certainly doesn't help things.
Well, mix the rain in, mix the score, 20-3. This is an opportunity now for this defense to maybe get a turnover if they get themselves in these passing situations.
Be a first down run for A.J. Olawet, the true freshman from Covington, Ohio. walked onto the program. He's now on scholarship. He was actually one of the heroes for the Bobcats last week.
He was. You know, what a great story. I mean, they had 4 fumbles between Daz Patterson, Dorian Brown, Tim Emmons, and here comes this young man in the final drive of last week's game to get 3, 4, 5 big runs to set him up for a field goal.
Cope making another catch, a couple of yards short of the first down. Bring up 2nd down and 2 as Tiller whacks him out. Fred Tiller is an impressive defensive back too. We talk about A.J. Stamps, but this Kentucky secondary is much improved from last year when he only had the 1 interception from that whole group. Didn't have a lot of big plays from the secondary. Olowet holds onto it, but then he's driven back. And it's going to bring up 3rd down and 4.
I think the best part of their secondary is they found a new leader in A.J. Stamps. They bring this kid in as a junior college transfer. And, you know, listen, all the big schools wanted him. Ohio State wanted him, and Kentucky beat him out to get him here. So speaks volumes again in this recruiting that this Stoops team of coaches has done.
Stoops not only winning the high school recruiting battles, but getting the junior college stars to come to Kentucky too. On the blitz, ball comes out. Sprague able to recover, but another big play. This time it's Blake McLean, the 2nd-year nickelback. 4th down.
Yeah, you see McLean really just coming off the edge of your screen here. Nobody blocks him. Gets himself a free hit. They drop the ball. You know, McLean's asked to do a lot of things for this defense. He calls himself a hybrid. I asked him, what position are you? He'll say linebacker, strong safety, corner. He's a jack of all trades, but he's got the toughest job on the field in that nickel position.
Bonstetter, a line drive kick. And DeMarco Robinson fields at the 19-yard line. Gets away from 1 tackler, busts to the outside, looking for room on that sideline. Another crackback block.
My goodness.
I mean, there's some heavy hitting going on out there. Robinson gets it out of bounds. It was Josh Forrest laying the wood for Kentucky that time. Tonight on the SEC Network, go to Baton Rouge, Tiger Stadium, for LSU hosting Sam Houston State. And then Texas A&M, number 9 in the country after that win over South Carolina in week 1. They've got Lamar. Both those games tonight on the SEC Network. You can go to secnetwork.com to find the channel number in your area. What a great start to the college football day here on ESPNU. McNeese State nearly knocked off Nebraska. If it weren't for Amir Abdullah on that last play for the Cornhuskers, who knows what might have happened there in Lincoln. Here in Lexington, looks like Patrick Towles and Kentucky are going to go to 2-0. They've got it 1st down and 10 at the 41-yard line with 7:46 to go. Towles fakes the handoff and then goes down at the 34. Talking about Texas A&M and what they did to South Carolina. Kenny Hill last week, 511 yards passing, breaking Johnny Manziel's record.
My question is, Clay, what do you do for an encore? Yeah. I mean, you just saw one of the best games ever, not just for a freshman quarterback, by any quarterback. Ugh, a lot of pressure on that young man now. He started the fire.
They were talking about it on game day today. It maybe speaks more to Kevin Sumlin's system, because look at Case Keenum. Look at what Manziel did, and now Kenny Hill, even though it's just 1 game.
I'll tell you.
That it is Manziel.
I'll tell you the reason why is the offensive line. First round draft picks the last 2 years. It looks like they're going to have another one. They got some great protection up front. He was clean the entire game against South Carolina. They weren't able to get to him at all, and he just picked them apart with his arm.
They get 6 yards back on that play. So now 3rd down and long for Kentucky as the clock continues to run. At least the rain has stopped. It was nice, so it cooled everything off. Taking their time here. Clock's on Kentucky's side. Trying to go to 2-0 for the first time since 2011. Towles. Incomplete. 4th down. Ryan Timmons He's had a nice day, right around 100 yards receiving. He was the intended receiver. So Kentucky will be at Florida next week. It will be their first taste of SEC play. And they've got a week off before hosting Vanderbilt. Fourth punt for Kentucky. This one sails to the 15. The foot of Landon Foster. Patterson brings it to the near side, and he's going to be out at the 25. So there's 6 minutes left here for Kentucky, but we can kind of look back on their day as there's a flag down. What do you think Mark Stoops is going to be talking about after this game?
During the return, holding number 23 of the receiving team, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, first down.
I teed you up, but you're going to have to answer on the other side of this break. We're going to take a timeout. 6:01 to go here in Lexington. We'll get Anthony Beck's thoughts on Kentucky when we come back. Let's recap the day on ESPNU up to this point. What a first game. Nebraska barely hangs on to beat McNeese State. Amir Abdullah, 58-yard touchdown catch. The difference is Nebraska barely gets by. In fact, Amir Abdullah, the main reason that Braylon Hurd transferred to Kentucky. In our game, a fast start for the Wildcats on offense. Got touchdowns on their first two series. Things slowed down after that, but they've got the lead here late. 20-3. Coming up, East Carolina and South Carolina in Columbia. And the Gamecocks desperately need a good showing. And then after that, Air Force and Wyoming. Wyoming under new head coach Craig Bohl, who led North Dakota State to 3 straight FCS national titles, now taking over the Wyoming Cowboys. Good start. And we hope a good finish here on ESPNU on the second Saturday of the college football season. Sprague to throw. Incomplete. Dorian Brown out of the backfield, the intended receiver.
You know, you go back to that East Carolina, South Carolina game. That's going to be a tough game for South Carolina. East Carolina now, they got one of the best quarterbacks no one knows about in Shane Carden, and another great receiver who, by the end of the year, Justin Hardy might be the best receiving tight end ever in college football. So they got a nice combination there. It's going to be no walkover game for South Carolina.
East Carolina won 10 games a year ago.
They played this team, Ohio, Frank Soldich's team, in the Beef O'Brady's Bowl game last year.
All right, I asked you before the break about Kentucky, as it appears they're going to go to 2-0. Times looked really good, especially early, but other times not so great.
Best thing you get out of this game, Clay, is it is a teaching tape. You go 2-0 for the first time since 2011. So important for these young players to get a little piece of winning. Understand what it feels like to be a winner. So they got 2 under their belt. They get to get ready for one of the biggest games of their year, going at Florida. And you use this tape to get better. A lot of people got to play again in this game. So they're worked on their depth. Now it's, can they put it all together? Their first big test next week against Florida. I really like this Kentucky team. I think that Coach Stoops has done an excellent job of preparing these kids for what they're about to go against. And you never know, Clay, this team could be rattling around that 500 bowl eligibility record.
And I think if this team gets to 5 wins, it would be enough to keep the momentum going here in Lexington. There is certainly a lot of good favor surrounding this program right now. But if they get to a bowl, wow, yeah, that would be ahead of schedule.
When we drove in, the tailgaters were rocking and rolling. I mean, this place in Lexington is begging for a great product on the field. And I think, again, I go back to what Coach Stoops has done. They're recruiting. They're a top 20 recruiting. You know, yeah, they might only be top 10, the 10th team in the SEC, but still, you still got to get players to come to Kentucky.
Damian Harris is the #1 running back on our ESPN 300 in the entire nation. Last night, Mark Stoops took a helicopter to his game in Berea, Kentucky. And Harris went off for 318 yards and 4 touchdowns. Mark Stoops stayed for the whole game. He told you and I it's about building relationships. And if the coach comes in on a helicopter and stays for the entire 4 quarters, that's certainly going to make an impression on a young man.
There's no question about it. And I'll tell you, they're deep at running back. And, obviously when you're looking at it to be a running back at Kentucky, you have to look at this depth. But really, when you want somebody, you want to go get them. You got to build that relationship, like you said. He talked about making connections with the kids. And it starts the entire time that kid plays. So not the last game of the year where you just knock him up on his door and call him up. It's the first game. It's before. It's putting the effort and the time in and build that strong relationship so you give yourself the best chance to potentially pull on a product like that.
The fans have really responded to Mark Stoops and what he has done to re-energize this program through recruiting. The spring game attendance was through the roof. Increased ticket sales for this season and going forward. As Horton gets another carry. And then donors have responded with millions of dollars for a new indoor practice facility. Of course, they're putting $120 million into this stadium. I mean, money's flying around this program now for the first time in a long time.
Listen, when this construction's done, Coach Stoop told us there won't be another program in the country, forget about SEC, that will have a better product, a great facility, and everything else that comes with it than Kentucky. And that's saying something, Clay. There's no question about it.
It truly is an arms race in the SEC, and Kentucky had a long way to go.
Well, I think they're thinking even bigger. They're looking at the country. They went to Texas A&M. They saw their facilities, and they draw on all this information. You see Oregon's got this top-of-the-line touchscreen, blackboards, and glass black. I mean, everything. They're going to have as much as they can to put into this building and this facility.
Kentucky calls a timeout here with under 4 minutes to go. Here's a look at the construction going on around Commonwealth Stadium. Again, $120 million worth of work being put into this stadium, which is already pretty good. But it's going to look great here in the next year or two. These are artist renderings of what the stadium is going to look like. Some of the figures go along with it. $45 million for a football office practice complex, which is scheduled to open in 2016. Brand new press box. Unfortunately, that's going to change our sight lines here. We're kind of happy with where we're at right now. We're really close to the field. We're going straight up. But the good news is, Anthony, it's going to be air conditioned.
I heard about that. They're going to pump some cold air in there, which would be nice.
Congratulations to Mark Stoops and everything he has done here so far. But they got to win. Timmons hit. And that'll bring up 4th down. It's a loss of 2 on that play.
And, even though when you get the best recruits, Clay, it doesn't guarantee you anything. The thing is, how do you develop these young players? How do you get these kids, when they make it, prove themselves that they have warranted the title of being a starter and put the uniform on, and they can go out on the football field on Saturdays and make those kind of plays they made in high school. We can put our 300 list out and we can assume, and it's all driven on potential, but it's got to translate. So you got to have teachers, and that's one thing I've noticed. Coach Stoops is a teacher. He won't take anything less than a disciplined football team that gets it right. And when you have young players, I think he's done an excellent job getting this particular team prepared to go for the 2014 season.
Punt goes out of bounds about the 34-yard line. 39-yard kick. 3:03 to go. Auburn take on San Jose State tonight. 7 Eastern on ESPN2. We talked about the Gamecocks and the Pirates. And that big one at the shoe. Number 8 Ohio State and Virginia Tech. A lot of folks think that Ohio State under Urban Meyer will be in that 4-team playoff.
Well, I'll tell you, with Braxton Miller going down, it'll be tough to see if they can get the quarterback situation to continue to play at a level it's been at the last few seasons. And, Frank Beamer's done a heck of a job during his 20-plus years there at Virginia Tech. This might be a great opportunity for them to get their team rolling where it hasn't been in the last few years in the ACC.
They did a profile on J.T. Barrett on game day today, the Ohio State quarterback. He's an impressive young man. They might be in just very capable hands and not miss a beat this season.
Well, I'll tell you, they're always in the limelight. Every week they're playing somebody. We got the Michigan States, the Michigans of the world. When that spotlight's glowing, we'll see if that kid can make big plays for that team and create a buzz that was there prior to Braxton Miller getting injured.
First down for Ohio. That's Tim Edmond, well-respected captain for the Bobcats. Again, the Bobcats picked third in the MAC East this year behind Bowling Green and Akron. The ball comes out. This might be our first turnover of the football game. They are going to rule that play down at the 45-yard line, but who's got it? Kentucky, it is a turnover.
Ohio's got the ball in their hand. I don't get that. The Ohio receiver is holding the ball in their hands. They're digging down, and Coach's standing there like, hey, Mr. Referee, I got the football. Check this out. We got to rewind this because the ball did hit the ground. You had a pile of Kentucky players on top of it. The refs are trying to pull them off. And you see Cope here. You watch this play. Ball comes out. Ball's on the ground. The pile's there. Everybody's scrambling for it. Now watch his ball squirt out right here. You'll see it come out. There it is. Referee's like, where are we at? He's pointing down. Pops out. Maybe he said the ball was down and in grass, but I don't know if he got possession, do you, when the ball squirts out like that? Oh, well.
First turnover of the football game. Kentucky now +6 in turnover margin this year. Michael Horton on that run. Just over 2 minutes to go.
Doesn't seem to be a concern from anybody except me, I guess. We see some great stuff in this booth, though.
Again, we're going to miss this vantage point.
No doubt.
We could hear them yelling at each other down there in the field over that loose ball.
I think I heard a Clay Matvick chant earlier in the game.
I don't think so.
Legend around here. A legend in Lexington.
2nd and 3. Kentucky trying to wind down as much clock as they can here. This is Horton. Michael Horton from Westchester, Ohio. Said it before that Mark Stoops has done a great job recruiting that state. That's Stoops' home state. And, Kentucky is really tapping into Big Ten territory when it comes to recruiting, too.
Well, sometimes you got to go outside of your boundaries and you got to figure out if you can pull those other great players. The Alabamas of the world, the LSUs, the Notre Dames can go in anywhere in the drop place of the United States and get players. And why not Kentucky? Stoops doesn't want to hold himself back and say we're not going to go in that region because we can't compete with the Alabamas. He's going to take those chances and he's going to try and give a great pitch. And I'll tell you, Clay, it's worked so far in 2 seasons.
Play a busted play there. Bring up 4th down. As just about a half minute to go. Kentucky 400 yards of total offense today. A far cry from what they did last week against UT Martin, but we certainly saw some good things, especially early from Patrick Tolles again. And the defense, a really nice effort for Kentucky. Meanwhile, Ohio got some work to do as they get ready for their next game.
Well, it seems like they'll have a quarterback situation heading in to the start of their conference in the MAC.
Tripped up, and that's going to do it. The Bobcats at Marshall next week. Meanwhile, Kentucky will take on Florida in Gainesville, and they'll do it 2-0 for the first time since 2011.
Well, I got to give credit to Mark Stoops and what he's been able to do with this program. 2-0, and when you win football games, you gain confidence, and your young players gain confidence. They've made a ton of plays so far in just a short window of their 2 games. Let's see now when the big games start to roll into town and they start going on the road if they can hang with the rest of the SEC.
Tolles 170 yards passing and a touchdown, leading Kentucky to a 20-3 win over Ohio. All right, we're going to go back to the studio for an update on all of the action so far today in college football. Let's hear from Matt and Kevin. So long from Lexington.